Welcome to Color Me Happy podcast. My name is Brandy Hofer. I am your host. Thank you so much for being here today. I sure do appreciate your time and support. And this has actually blown up even more than I could have ever imagined. And it's been such a beautiful process, and I've met so many special people along the way. So when I say I appreciate your time and everyone else's, I really, truly do. I've made so many beautiful friends and connections from doing this. And I just really didn't know what I was getting into. And I tried it out, and it turned out to be about 1,000 times better than I could have ever thought or imagined. So I think it's just, it's been so special. And I've actually gotten some really great messages, and I want to read one to you right now. It says, "Hey beauty, I just wanted to say I'm so proud of you for totally owning your passion and kicking ass in the art industry. I was listening to your podcast last night, and I cried with you guys, and I laughed with you, and I just wanted to thank you for making the world a more beautiful place. Keep being awesome." It's just, it's so special, and I think those beautiful acts of kindness from people, not in this case, I'm getting a little flustered, but not just in this case or specifically sending me a message, of course, but in general, when you lift someone up and support them, it really means more than you could ever imagine. So keep making the world a better place the way you know how. And I do appreciate your time, and I do appreciate your support. Speaking of friends, on today's episode, we have Lana Laine. And we had to have Lana Laine on because in the last podcast, as you know, we talked about her quite a bit. So I thought naturally it would be the best follow-up ever. And Lana has this really cool study that she talks about by this psychologist or doctor. That's the psychologist is a doctor. I had it written down, but it's a TED Talk. I'll share the link in the thingy below. But it was about people who live past 100 and what you have to do to live past 100. And the results kind of surprise you. I'll tell you a few. I won't tell you. No, I have to tell you the top one because I said speaking of friends. But friends, connections, and community is number 1. And then you can find out what number 2 is and what number 9 and 8, 10 are, which are crazy. You'd think they'd be way up there. Definitely not drinking and not smoking. We're very close to the top. But I'll let you listen to the episode to find out what they are, because it's kind of cool. And be sure to go watch the TED Talk as well. But Lana is so rad, and she just gives. Like, she gives till the cows come home. Like, I bet she hits the pillow exhausted every day. And she is giving back to community. She is giving it her all. She wants to live to like 111, I swear. With the way she gives. So I know you'll enjoy this episode with her, and you'll just leave feeling like, I'm gonna, we talk about volunteering, and actually Lana's the reason I have been volunteering lately. I used to do a lot with, my mom worked with people with developmental disabilities, and I did some volunteering with them, and it was pretty cool. But my mom was there, so she facilitated a lot. I was just having fun and painting and drawing with these cool cats, and it was so fun and rewarding. And since having children, I just kind of lost touch with that because, as we know, kids take up a tad bit of time. But now Teddy's 2 and Finn is 5 and Gus is 7, and I wouldn't say I have more time or anything, but I can leave them with someone else when I go volunteer. So Lana has hooked me up with some youth programming, and I'm having a friggin' blast. I recommend that you guys, whatever skills you have, whatever possible little thing, if you like freaking making cards, or if you like needlepoint, if you like knitting, if you like anything, and scrapbooking, taking pictures, you can show people your skills. Just it doesn't have to be a lot of pressure or very organized. You're just showing up, and it really means the world to these kids, and you're creating a safe, beautiful space. So thank you, Lana, for letting me connect to that beautiful part of myself again. I feel like I'm gaining so much more actually than there. I mean, I love seeing the kids laugh when they create, and I love seeing them like prance out of the room saying, because at the beginning they're really shy. They're like, I'm not sure if I can draw a portrait. I don't know. I've never done this. And then this one young woman, she waltzed out of there dancing, like seriously dancing. I am going to sell my painting for $1,000. And it was so great. Anyway, so Lana was the reason I've been, just my cup is full. I also am really excited because I have a new supporter of my show, which, Red Bicycle Communications has been an awesome supporter. Thank you. But I have Nouveau. Let me get nervous and F this up, right? Okay, there we go. I've got it right in front of my face. Nouveau Laser and Aesthetic Center. Here locally in Lloydminster. They are a new supporter of the show, and you'll remember that now because I screwed it up so hard. So Vanessa, beautiful Vanessa, Inside and Out, she consultations are free, and I went there because I have some friends who recommended I go. I have some skin things, hormone shifts with a lot of you, I'm guessing, because 98% of you are female. I have the stats backing me up here. Probably most of you have had kids, etc. And your hormones are wackadoodle. But my hair is like falling out, and also I have terrible blemishes, and so it's a super big blow on the self-esteem. And so I thought, I want to do something about it. I want to be proactive. And skincare. So I've learned so much from Vanessa, because skin is obviously your biggest organ, and it's not about, what you put on it, but what you put in your body. So I've been learning a lot about that, and it's been really cool. This is such a long intro. So sorry. So Vanessa is going to support the show. We're going to, she's going to do self-care tips, which is amazing. And I'm going to give you one of them now. And it's number 1. And self-care is not selfish. It is necessary. So friends, take care of yourselves. I always say, and I've said it a lot in the early episodes, if you don't take care of yourself, how are you going to take care of others, right? You show up for yourself so you can show up for your family and your friends in the best possible version of yourself. All right, I will stop. And you can hear this really amazing speaker. She ramps people up. So I know she's going to really inspire you. And okay, bye. Yes. So welcome, Lana. I'm so happy to have you here, especially on short notice, but we had to do a big follow-up to the last podcast because I bet people are curious who you are. So thank you so much. And we're just talking about your title and what that could be, because you're so multifaceted and you're so many things. And what do you call yourself, and what do we call ourselves when that is the case, So community connector is what we came up with. Is that what you said?
That sounds like an okay title.
Yeah, it's a great title. But what, so the audience knows, what are some of those things that fall under that umbrella?
Sure. So Brandy, I have been part of Lloydminster community for a very long time. So I grew up here. So Lloydminster has been home for a very long time. Did take a hiatus, I guess, out of Lloydminster to do some teaching in the north, as well as an 8-year stint in Strathmore, just outside of Calgary, but have made the way back here again. So Lloydminster for me has always been home. This is where all of my family resides. So when I think of a community connector and the number of things that I've been involved with in community, that is for sure centered around my family. So I'm a mom of 3 wonderful kids. My husband runs Rusway Construction here in town. My dad had that company for many, many years, and I remember growing up with dad always part of Rusway Construction. But when I think of all of the things that I've been part of, I was a teacher in the community, so I'm a teacher by trade, and I continue to teach and mentor teachers throughout our province in Alberta as a contractor with the Learning Network. So that is, I guess, my position of work is a literacy consultant. And I also am a family youth worker at Grace United Church. So my role there is connecting families to programming and being there, I guess, as a support for families, youth, and other people in the community that are maybe struggling with things in their life. So lots of things. I was thinking about that even when we talked about it. I mean, I ran a business for years with Morgan Mann. I was a power skating instructor. So many people in our community know me as the person that was on the ice for many years, teaching our kids how to skate. So I now see a lot of these families coming back to the rink, and I've been pulled back to some more power skating, and I'm teaching now the kids of the kids I taught. So yeah, the gray hair is definitely getting more gray. So when I think of the committees and all of the things that I've sat on throughout the years, I think community connector for me is a title that I honor and I cherish. I think of my work with B. Fisher Foundation right now as a board member, funding dollars for the work that we do there. I sit on the Health Foundation because I believe that that's a huge need in our community and one that I can support and be a part of. I think a kids sport many years ago that I sat on in hopes of trying to get all kids that wanted to play sport to be involved. So there are a number of communities and committees that I still am a part of, but I do believe that our community is better when we dive in and we do the work. So I'm a strong believer in the work.
No, that's very inspiring and it's very important. And just to touch on like how that impacts, you impact through the people you touch. So initially we had met because you asked me to volunteer.
Right.
And I usually say yes when people actually, to be honest, I say yes when people ask me. It's happening more and more now that people are finding out, by the way.
Yeah, that's right.
You asked me to volunteer and I've fallen in love with it. It's so amazing to see children light up when we do creative things together. And it really doesn't matter, I've realized, what we do.
That's right.
To like hang out with them and have fun and see them laugh when I know they're shy or they have other things going on, but to just, see how much they open up through that way. So your influence and just has, given me that beautiful gift. So, and in the short time I've kind of known you, so I can't even imagine how many people you impact on a regular basis. I'm sure it's a lot, but I've also seen you at the women's, is it Inspiring Women's Conference? Is that, yeah. So you just step up, even if you weren't invited.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. There's always something to say.
I'm like, and I was speaking and I had prepared 2 months leading up to that event because I had never done any sort of public speaking before. And then here you walk up in front of 300 women and I don't know, I'm like, she just did a 15-minute speech off the top of her head. What the heck? It was pretty moving and pretty cool. And definitely I was like, okay, that's the level you have to get at, I guess, or not.
Well, you know what? I think as you age, and I mean, being a teacher, that's definitely helped me in the skill set. And I think it's a skill set that takes you into many different avenues of life. But I strongly believe that we all have gifts, talents, and abilities, right? And if I can empower people to share their gifts and talents, it lightens my load. Like, I'm not going to joke around. I am no artist, or I would say really creative person. So why wouldn't I have somebody like a Brandy Hofer come in and share her gifts and talents? And at the end of the day, me doing that lightens the load for my work. There's no guesswork on what I need to be doing, but I can offer this wonderful person to a group of youth to share her gifts and talents. And that's what we do at the church, right? We have lots of different people that come in for these youth nights on many activities and events that I would not be comfortable in sharing, right? So, and what a gift to you to come share with others. And I mean, I strongly believe that for us, and I mean, I serve others all the time, and that makes me a better person, and that's what I truly believe in. If I can serve others by offering a little bit of myself, then I know I've done something good today, right? And to me, that is backbone to what I do and backbone to the community. And I think that's backbone to all communities, that we
Mm.
all give a little, then we're better off, right? So if we can all be acknowledged in some way with our gifts and our talents, it just makes for a better, wonderful community.
Yeah, and working together in that same mindset, right?
Yeah,
Who says that? Jen Sincero. There's nothing like the power of a giver.
that's
You
right.
can just feel it radiating off of them.
Hmm.
And when people step outside of themselves and kind of come into that, it can be such a beautiful thing. And just like you said, yeah, you're not super into making things or getting creative, right? So you ask
Hmm.
someone else. When you ask for help and when you reach out to other people and when you work together on something, it becomes more powerful instead of and it's all comes back to collaboration over competition, right?
Absolutely.
Not trying to take it on yourself because it just won't work. It won't grow. It won't.
Yeah.
But when I had called you following the conversation with Stephanie, um, you had talked about a really powerful
Yeah.
uh, man. Did you? Was it a man and a?
Well, Susan Pinker, is that who I was talking about? The psychologist, Susan
Yeah,
Pinker, on the
yeah.
social connections? Yeah, so, there's probably a handful of things that I have learned in my lifetime that I would say would be my guiders in how I roll every day. And this was a very interesting, it was actually a TED talk that I came across, and her name is Susan Pinker. She's a psychologist, and she's actually Canadian, has done a huge study on centurions and what it takes to live to 100 and beyond, and what it takes to live that age but live it well. And so she actually studied up on some other studies that other people had done, and it took her to a place in Italy. So it was this place, like, across the world, this is the only place where people have lived this longevity and lived it well. So she wanted to determine what it was that helped these people get to where it was they were today and enjoy the life that they had enjoyed. And
Mhm.
so, of course, when I throw this out to a lot of my workshops, I put it out to my people and I say, okay, what would you have to do to live to 100 and do it well? Of course, people say quit smoking, quit boozing. Maybe I'm going to exercise more. Maybe I'm going to, try and lose all this weight that I need to lose. And those were actually on the bottom of the list. And a flu vaccine, I think, was actually higher on the list than it was exercising. So you're actually doing better if you get vaccination, than exercising. That's how crazy it was. But what she determined at the end was that it's about social integration. And so social integration means the people that you surround yourselves with. And our family and our loved ones were actually not on the top. So that was number 9, right? Like when you think of the top. Um, Loving family members for sure, friends, and that circle of people that are around you, that is important. And it was very close to being the top. But the number one thing was social integration. So, do you know the name of the postman that's delivering your mail? Do you say, hello to somebody in the grocery
Yeah,
store?
my doorbell just rang. There's Dennis.
There's Dennis. That's funny. Um, so, do you make those connections with people that maybe you don't even know?
Yeah.
And for this tight knit community in Italy, where you had to be in the face of others because it's such a tight knit, like houses are jam packed close to each other. You're almost living on top of the other person. You know everybody's business. For them, they were interacting lives all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was what the study came to be, was that if we can engage ourselves in social interaction.
Hold
So
on 1 second. Yeah, buddy? Is there someone at the door? Oh, pause.
sure.
A what? It's not fast. All right. Sorry. There we go.
Yeah.
Well, you inspired me to get the name of the FedEx lady. Her name
Yeah.
is Penny.
Oh, there you go. That's awesome.
Easy to
Well, I
remember.
will definitely send you the link to that because I think it's one of the things that's been a guiding force for me, especially in my work, because her whole idea around this is build your village.
Yeah.
That's the message. Build the village of people around you that are going to make you better. And that means connecting with people. So
Mhm.
that has really been a guide for my work. And I really resonated with it when I think of my teaching. When a child's having trouble reading, what do? Usually hook them up with another buddy reader. I think of the Roots of Empathy program that we ran in Strathmore, where we connected 5 to 13-year-olds with babies. So moms would bring their babies into our school, and these 5 to 13-year-olds would actually have to be coached and worked with to actually spend some time with these babies. And the whole idea was that it was to build empathy. So that
Mhm.
love and care for others. So if we've got kids that are struggling with the behavior issues or things that they're just not adjusting to in that classroom setting, if we put them in a position where they now actually have to teach or be part of that empathy learning, then it helps get them through some of those behavioral issues, right? So I've really resonated with that TED Talk, and it grounds me in a lot of the work that I do. And so it's always about connecting others for me. It's always about connecting community and really just standing back and watching the gifts and talents of others shine in situations, right? That's a
Mhm.
huge part of what I do.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Well, yeah, you definitely can tell. And like you said, it's just it's just that human connection, right? And outside of maybe your comfort zone, almost, is it a
Yeah,
good way to describe it?
yeah,
Like, um especially now and with our youth, there is such an anxiety that has grown out of what has happened.
yeah,
Um, and they, at a time where they should be connecting the most outside of their family pods,
yeah,
they don't get to. And
yeah.
if they do, it's not a physical interaction. And as we all know, those are very different,
Mhm.
right?
No,
Um,
you're right.
so it's just not as impactful in any sort of way. And it's not really good for you, obviously,
Yeah,
to be on a device. I totally um I think I really feel that it is so true because we have a really great neighborhood. As you know, I live across from your little sister,
that's right.
oddly enough. And we didn't, although we were all afraid during the pandemic, we were in a very fortunate bubble,
Right.
because there's 56 children in this
Yeah.
close.
Yeah.
Um, and yes, no, 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 maybe we didn't social distance very well, but with those children, um, no one got sick,
That's
so,
right.
or
Yeah.
was in trouble. But we ended up, because you know what, to be honest, so I was the mom who still had little kids. A lot of them other parents were working from home, so they couldn't be outside all day. So I was okay with that. Okay, so I was a facilitator of
Mhm.
a whole bunch of kids all at once.
Yeah.
Some of them, because it was so scary, were had developed like for my own children, like a bit of a stutter or a twitch, or
Mhm.
you could see some
Mhm.
of them struggling.
Yeah.
And we're very lucky. We're very fortunate. We have enough money for food and we do
Mhm.
very well. So this was more like of a mental heavyweight on these kids.
Yeah.
Um, and they're lucky they don't, have those struggles. But we were all
Mhm.
afraid, right? So when your
Mhm.
parents are afraid and they don't have an answer for you, it's going to come out in a different way. And
Yeah.
I'm no expert, but I'm just speaking from my experience through that. So what I did was I just took their minds off it for like
Mhm.
6 months straight.
Yeah.
What do I have in my garage? I have a broom. Okay, let's high jump over a broomstick for like 2 hours.
Right.
Or
Right.
who can hop on one foot to the light pole? And it was just days filled with that. And you could see, and just their cares, they were distracted. And that's all that, because a lot of them, they were young. So they just needed a physical way to, by the end of the summer, they all looked like CrossFitters. These little, because they were and I yeah, I think I was at the hospital and they're like, "Man, where have you been? You look good. You're tanned up." I was like, "Well, I've been on the pavement in the asphalt
Yeah.
facilitating children's activities for the last 6 months."
Well, and now they're all sitting on the couch watching the Oilers play, so now they'll be couch
Together.
potatoes in the garage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't think they'll remember it as like, and other parents were so great too. Like
Mhm.
Derek got tadpoles and we learned all about tadpoles and sorry, that's your sister's husband.
Yeah.
So, we all worked together to create a distraction, with lack of a better term, for getting through something. But
Mhm.
that just solidifies what you were saying. Like community, village, that's how you get through life. That's how you get through
Mhm.
challenging things, is you lean on these people. And they lean on you right back,
Yeah,
right?
no, I agree. I think it's lightening the load. And I know you and Steph talked a little bit about the Hub of Healing that we're doing here at Grace with a network of all the service agencies. And I know Steph is really adamant about duplication of services and not wanting to do that. So why wouldn't we band all of us together, know what each other is doing, and come to the community as sort of a unified front about this is how we're going to attack the issues in our community. To me, that makes more sense than you doing what you're doing in your service agency place and us doing this, what we're doing over here. And then find out at the end of the day, we're all doing the same thing. When we could have, banded together, learned the strengths and kind of the weaknesses of each group, and then roll with all the strengths. So as a unified group, we can hit the actual issues that are as part of our community that are kind of ailing us right now. And that right there builds community and that togetherness. And I learn more about, so many people with just those meetings and the conversations. And to me, that's what makes sense. So when I think of community connectiveness, I strongly believe that I guess that is my passion work right now, and that's my role in the community. I have the facilitation skills and the ability to bring people together. I've grown up in this community. I know so many people. I can call on you, and you to come here because I know you have to be around the table. So that has been helpful. And I think at the end of the day, I can see that work being something very powerful for our community. And so that's what guides me, and that's what I guess kind of drives me. My husband says to me all the time, honestly, you're on another committee. It doesn't feel like work to me. It
Mhm.
doesn't, it's passion, it's bringing people together. And I just honestly love to stand back and watch what evolves from what you've brought together.
Mhm.
That's the feel good part of it for me, right?
Yeah.
It's not work.
No, not
Mhm.
yeah, and that's something you love. And when it comes to those services, it's really not a one size fits all scenario either, right?
Mhm.
Like it is just such a you need experts in different fields and people with different strengths, because like you said earlier, um, uh, you can't maybe service that one individual
Yeah.
yourself. You need these other people. You
Mhm.
need, and I think it grows out of what the community is telling you, and you can't sit in a board and know what's going to come up in the community that you need that service for specifically, right? It's
Yeah.
a whole kind of process of learning. So if you can open those branches of communications and saying, yes, we are working together,
Yeah.
and we are stronger together, and it takes people to
Yeah.
tell others that, like, make them see
Yeah.
it, right?
No,
And
for
you're
sure.
very good at communicating that, and I
Mhm.
think so you're a key to, unlocking so many things, because
Mhm.
people can't always see out of their,
Yeah.
out of the span of their experiences or what they know.
No, that's great. Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, and there are so many community agencies and community people that have amazing gifts and talents, right? And I think that needs to be shared. So if I can get in a group of people and find out what it is exactly your mission or vision is with your group, it just widens the whole playing field for what we can do as a community to help and support everyone, right? So um, it's powerful work, and again, I love bringing people together. I love sitting back and just watching the conversation, and I have learned so much in the last couple of years with COVID. We started last year, and we continued to roll. We went virtual. I said, this Hub of Healing is going to go every month. I want people to know that this is an important meeting. If I keep canceling stuff, then it becomes something that gets, oh, that's not as important as it needs to be or should be or whatever. Whoever is around the table is around the table. You just come, you do your work. And as Steph said when you guys talked before, it's about action. I'm pretty hardcore as far as I have high expectations. And so you're not coming here just for the sake of another meeting. We're all busy, we're all tired, we're always in a meeting. This is action work. So we're going to come to what it is we're going to do, and you're actually going to do the work here. So this is a working meeting. So if you have to make phone calls and you have to connect with people and you have to invite them to our next meeting, you're doing the work at that meeting. It's not something you're taking away. It's actually going to be done at the meeting. So I think
As we
that,
all know,
yeah, I think that format has,
it will never get done. You have to do it right then and there, right?
yeah.
That is so true.
Yeah. Well, I laugh because I have this other. I'll send you this too because I was a hockey coach and I was a ball coach forever, and this ball coach actually addressed. I think she was a college coach in Utah. Her name is Sue Enquist, and she has this mantra. It's like top third, and so I've lived by this one as well. So she has top third, middle third, bottom third. So people in our life fall into these categories. You can be a top third person, a middle third, or a bottom third. Your top third people are the go-getters, the ones that are going to be very loyal, trusting. If I am asked to do something, I'm going to get her done. I'm going to be positive. I'm going to be upbeat. I'm going to be a doer. The bottom third are what she calls barfers. So these are the people, and she referred to it as like if you're in a ball team, right? And you're the ball player that comes in and you're whining and complaining because you've got a blister on your toe, or oh, I just ran the bases and now I'm dead and I can't go out, or we're losing 4-0 and we're not gonna, right? Like these are your people that just drag you down, right? And then the middle third are the people that can go either way. So when things are going grand and it is an awesome positive situation, I'm going to maybe run at top third, but that bottom third person can draw me down too. So I can become negative and I can be drawn to that negativity and the crappy stuff. And so I ran a booster juice store in Strathmore because I had nothing else to do. We needed booster juice in Strathmore. I said we need to have this booster juice place, so let's open up a store. So I did. And the people that I hired in that store were youth from our community. I went to the high school and I asked my high school teacher friends. I said, okay, I need about 15, 20 people that you think would be great workers for this booster juice. And I was adamant about what type of skill set they needed. And so I brought them in. I hired 12. I kept those 12 pretty well the entire time I had the store while we were there. but I had high expectations, and I totally showed them the video about Top Third. I told them that if I ever came in and they were on their phones, they were fired. They took toothbrushes to tile and they cleaned that store. They cleaned, I mean, we were the cleanest bathroom on Highway 1 between Strathmore and Medicine Hat. It was boundaries, it was expectations, it was these are the rules here and this is how it's going to run. And the skill set I think that we ended up teaching those young people, well, I know I had an impact because I hear from many of them still today. These are your leaders, these are your community people that are giving back. They know what's important, right? They work hard. And so I think in today's world, we need to have those boundaries and expectations, and we need to have structure, and we need to know that people are part of that and they should be acknowledged for their gifts and their talents and what they have to offer our community. And everyone has something to offer. And
Mm-hmm.
so I think that is the role that I see in my work as a teacher, as a family youth worker, that I am there to pick you up. I think of the outreach people that I've supported and I have on my texts all the time, and I'm texting them and checking in and how are things going and are you doing okay? And the residents in recovery that have been part of our programming as well. And I touch base with all these guys because if I can be the person they're thinking about before they make a poor decision, and it steers them to make a better decision, then I know I've done my job,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that's about community connectedness. That is about caring about others, loving them for who they are, whether they are old or young or whatever their sexual orientation is, whatever their color of their skin is. It doesn't matter. We all have a place here and we all have a part in making our community better, right? So it's listening, it's engaging, and it's just being a person that is there to just, I think, support others in the journey that we call life, right? So
Mm-hmm.
powerful stuff, Brandy. Like
Yes.
yeah, it feels good to just know that you've been a part of something that's making a difference, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then you'll live to 104.
That's right, because I've integrated so much socially. I said to Kevin, I can't see myself retiring. Like I said, I'm for sure working till I'm 87. And he goes, and I say this, I don't know where 87 came up. It always comes up in our conversation. I said, well, I'm working till 87. He goes, well, I'll be long and gone from that time. I'm like, get out, you're no way. Anyway, I can't see ever retiring because I think that involvement in community will always steer me to be doing something, right? Um,
It's true. I don't think I'll retire. Why would I retire from making stuff? Like that
yeah,
seems crazy to me. Like
yeah,
because you get out of bed and you love what you do.
that's right.
If everyone loved what they did, what
Yeah,
a world.
yes. Oh,
We wouldn't
absolutely.
we wouldn't have that industrialism kind of mindset where we're like, well, we'll work till we're 55 and then I'll get to live. Like,
Yeah,
no.
yeah,
It's not healthy, and we see it all the time, and we see it especially in our community with the oil, like, and there's a lot of mental health issues because it's
mm,
putting human beings in these settings,
yeah,
and it's
yeah,
not healthy for them, and they struggle. And so, not saying that there are passionate people in that industry as well, right?
sure, for sure.
But how can you find a more of like this balance
Yeah,
for
yeah,
individuals, and not say, well, this is the only thing you can do because this is the only way you can provide for yourself and your
mhm,
family or
yeah,
whoever, right? That's not the only option.
mm,
And it comes with educating people and being open minded, I think.
yeah.
um
Well,
in that.
isolation is tough, right? And I think when you get wrapped up, and I mean, don't kid yourself. I am a workaholic. I was born with, I think, probably the the workaholic of the year. I mean, my dad was a crazy man for like the work and definitely provided for our family, but at what cost? And I
Mhm.
think as he's aged, he's realized that, right? But that's also been the journey for our family and the connectiveness and kind of the togetherness we are. Like I don't know many other families in our community that get together as much as we do and spend as
No,
much
you guys
time.
have fun stuff.
Right?
Buses pull up.
That's right. But
Minus 47.
that's right.
You want to come take our picture, Brandy?
Yeah, that's right.
Sure.
But those are the things that we've identified as a family that are important, right? So it's never, I mean, it's hard work to do all that stuff too, to coordinate everybody, to get everybody together. But once you're there and once you're doing the activity and once you're part of it all, that's the joy of it, right? And there's that togetherness again. So, um, isolation can be a very like a horrible thing when you think of how driven we are to get our work done and those days become long. Is there some time in our day that we can squeeze in that visit or that phone call or the touch note that I call them to other people because it is important and it will lift you. And I always say it lightens the load. Anything you can do to lighten the load of young families or anybody that you meet, what is it that you can do to lighten the load of others that's going to make their day just a little bit brighter and a little bit easier? That I feel is part of my role as well, right? What can that be? And I mean, I write letters all the time. I send cards out all the time. That's a lost art for many people.
I
Right?
love. Where's my card? Oh, I think I spilled tea, but I have it. Yeah, I've gotten beautiful cards from you, and I feel that way too. There is, okay, so we have this duck. We have a duck. Um, we have a duck. Okay, so we hatched some chickens and ducks, but like the duck is so great compared to the chickens. So Teddy loved him too much, and he picked him up and brought him to my bed one morning. So he squeezed him a little too hard. So here I am driving to the vet with a duck in a basket because I thought the kids were like crying and weeping and I was crying and I'm like, he's gonna die right now on my arm. Because it was like open mouth breathing. And I was like, he is going to die right now. And this is the worst. I haven't even recovered from our fish dying. Like,
Right.
that was a hard 3 days. Like, we grieved. But for our young family, we have had intense grieving moments. So, of course, anything that dies brings up really
Yeah,
intense emotions again. And that's
for
kind of
sure.
how grief works, right?
Yeah,
Like,
for
our
sure.
kids didn't understand how they grieved.
Hmm.
And so it brings up all that. And it's so the duck, we had a really intense morning with the duck. And here I am on my way to Kent Weir. And I call my dad and he's a farmer, like grew up farm guy. He's like, we can get you another egg. Of course in his mind, like a duck is a duck. Like the
Right.
fox gets his chickens and whatever. Like
Yeah.
that's just farmer mentality sort of.
Right.
But I'm like, no, he's like, it's going to probably cost you. I'm like, I am aware, but I'll figure that out. Right. Like whatever. It's whatever.
That's right.
So I get there and Ken, of course, is also the sweetest person on earth.
Yeah.
Another beautiful person in our community. So I'll have to interview Kent next.
That's right.
um, I'm another beautiful individual in our community, and I get there and I'm like, I
With a duck.
I'm like, I don't even like. I'm like, this is Grandpa, our duck, and he got squeezed too hard, and so of course the whole office fell in love with Grandpa. And long story short, Kent was so sweet and X-rayed him for on the house X-ray
Mm.
of the duck, and so that meant so much to me. Like that was amazing. Thank you. And
Mhm.
Grandpa's tripled in size. He's better. He's our neighborhood duck. He's so great. So what I did was I dropped off. We're so grateful. How do I show my love? I don't know. Like a thank you doesn't seem suffice.
Right.
So I drop off for their whole office, art prints for their whole office. And he's like, this is
Nice.
way over the top. I'm like, but your act of kindness means something to people. It
Yeah.
means something, but it also means something to say thank you,
Yeah.
right?
That's right. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if and when I started, the reason I feel so strongly is my mom actually left me a note.
Mhm.
So she had the gift of before she passed away, she had a year and a half of, organizing things, knowing that she wouldn't be here in 3, 6, whatever, 9 months. They gave her 3. She never told us, but with lung cancer, I'm sure they don't give you.
Yeah.
It's so aggressive. So I had sent her a thank you letter when I was 24 about helping me move to Halifax. And I wrote a really big part of this in my book and how important it is. And, when you're in your young 20s, you're such a jerk.
Yeah.
So, it's not like I said thank you to her all the time, but I wrote her a letter thanking her because she only made $24,000 a year annually, right? She worked at the Beef Fisher, all about the Beef
Yeah.
Fisher sector and how important that work is in our community and those individuals. So she didn't have the money to move me to Halifax. She really didn't have the money to buy me whatever I wanted at Walmart that day or whatever. So I thought about that and I wrote her this letter thanking her, and she kept that letter. So for almost 15 years. And then she wrote a note. She said, "This is what's important. This helping people and thanking them. And this is what life is all about."
Yeah. Yeah.
Do
I
this.
agree. Yeah.
So she left me a lot of notes. So basically these notes have just been the journey, how I live my life now.
Yeah.
I don't think she maybe knew the impact that they would have specifically. I have them all framed and ready. The joy of having children is something you don't know until you have it, and how much you'll anyway. But so what a gift, right? As much as I want to see my mom every day, and as much as I miss her and wish she could be here, what a gift.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I call those touch notes, and it's a way of touching someone and you don't really know the impact, like you say. And it may be down the way or it may be in that moment, but touch notes to people help in so many different ways and ways that we don't even know, right? So I think those are definitely important ways of connecting people and connecting community as well. So those are powerful ways to just acknowledge people. And at the end of the day, that's what we all want. We want to just
without
know
expecting anything in return.
that's right. We just want to know we matter, right?
Mm-hmm.
That everyone in our world matters, everyone in our community matters, that you have a space in this place, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what you do does matter. So at the end of the day, that's what it's about for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see that, and I see you, and thank you. And I can't wait to just do more stuff with you.
Well, I can find you now. I'll definitely be calling you more. I just think those are gifts that we just, they're powerful to the kids that you work with and powerful to anybody that's involved with it. And those are gifts that we just have to keep giving in our community.
Yeah. What'd you say to me the other day? You nudged my elbow and said, "Can you believe you get to do this all the time now? Can you believe your luck?" And I'm like, I really can't.
Yeah. It's awesome. Yeah,
it is the coolest thing ever. And empowering young people is definitely it's like a feel good. It's an instant feel good.
That's right.
Because we all know it's not easy.
No.
Being a teenager is not easy.
No, that's right. So you will do awesome things. That's great.
Thank you, Lana, and thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule. I really appreciate it, and we will chat soon for sure.
Okay, that sounds awesome. Thank you, Brandy. Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah, see, what a cool lady. I love Lana. I'll just aim to be more like her every day. And I think I'll live to 111 as well. Yeah, so make sure you check out in our BHA gallery. We have our Like a Mother collection, and it is coming out of the gallery soon. It's a really powerful show. about female creatives and, how they either connected as a mother or to the mother themselves. And so it's just full of beautiful work. You got to check it out. You can tour it virtually. And you can also see our live where we tour on our website right there, brandyhofer.ca, in collections, like a mother collection. We have a live where we chat with the artists and go through the show and answer questions, and it's really cool. So check that out. And at the beginning of Red Bicycle Communications, I did not ask Lana what her ideal perfect day was. And that's how Red Bicycle supports our show. And so I'm just going to guess. No, just kidding. I'm just going to guess at Lana's perfect day. I'm going to describe my ideal perfect day and or lead you into, what does yours look like? Yeah, how about we do that? That's way better. Yes. Okay, so this is what I ask our guests at the end of each show. So where are you? Where are you on your perfect day? Think of the setting. Is it sunny? Is it rainy? Are there mountains? Is there an ocean? There's definitely an ocean in mine. Or a lake, or, a sunset, or I guess, sorry, I'm effing this up. Sunset would be at the end of your day. Is there a sunrise in your day? What does it smell like? What does it feel like? Who's beside you? What are you going to eat for breakfast? Oh, I would kill for a croissant from in Paris. I'm gluten-free, so I would really, really kill for a croissant in Paris. So bad. I got to paint outside of Paris once for a artist residency, and it was, I definitely was glowing after that trip. I have to say, it was so beautiful, and I got to eat so many beautiful things. Baguette. I miss baguette. Anyway, baguettes? That's probably plural. Okay, what are you eating? You probably want what I want. Fresh croissant. Who wouldn't? Okay, and so what are you going to do today on this day? And, what's so interesting is many people say when I ask them this, they're kind of already living their perfect days, except they're just with their family chilling out, which is so cool. I just love that answer. And it's just like those easy days. Well, no days are ever super easy, but those days where you just do the things you love to do. So, ending your day with a beautiful meal. Clearly I like food. And how will you spend the evening? Alrighty, friends. Again, check out our show at BHA Gallery, and reach out anytime. I really, those beautiful messages, like the message I started with, those mean so much. Anytime you can message anyone, not just me, of course, anytime you can message anyone and tell them how special they are or what they're doing is special to you. My mom actually, and I talked about that with Lana in this episode, that was one of the notes my mom left to me, and I talk about it a lot in my book, these notes that she left for me and how I'm living my life according to these notes. And it's been a journey, and that was one of them, is telling people how much you care and how much you see them, and how much you appreciate it. It's just giving out what you can when you can, it doesn't have to be, giving doesn't have to be monetary. Everyone thinks I have to give money or donate. It's like giving can be so many things. You can give your time, you can give a compliment, you can give a letter or a message. It's really powerful, more powerful than you realize until you just give and give and give, and then it feels amazing. My book, I hope, will come out soon. I have it as August 4th, okay? Editing is way more of a time-consuming challenge than I anticipated. And it has gone through an editor, but I decided that I wanted to review it again. And that's okay. That's all part of the process. So stay tuned where I share, all the things I talk about. I'm really excited for you to read it. So darn excited. Okay, so much. Also, what I'm very excited about is I have a solo show, the Taylor Collection. So you could subscribe to our newsletter and you'll get early access to the collection on Thursday. Yeah. And the show releases through PXP Contemporary Gallery and BHA Gallery, two powerful females combined. I'm so grateful for PXP's support and just a reminder to ask for your opportunities and that's nothing has happened to me that hasn't been me asking for it. And Alicia is amazing. She's on the show next, and we chat about the collection, and we chat about she gives some really great tips, and actually I don't remember what we talked about. To be honest, you'll see next week. I'll let you all go. Thank you so much for being here. Be sure to share about the podcast, message, follow at Brandy Hofer Studios, at BHA Gallery, follow at Color Me Happy Community, join our free community where we support one another. And you're welcome to share in the community. Everyone's so shy still. It's pretty new, so I get it. But I'm here for you, and I'm happy for you to share whatever's going on. So don't be shy, and we'll chat soon. Bye.